you're comfortable doing so, let's rise, and with some energy for this Sunday morning, let's sing this together.
We are one in the Spirit, we are one in the Lord. We are one in the Spirit, we are one in the Lord. And we pray that our unity may one day be restored, and they'll know we are living by our love, by our love. Yes, they'll know we are living by our love. We will work with each other, we will work side by side. We will work with each other, we will work side by side. And we'll guard each one's dignity and save each one's pride. And they'll know we are living by our love, by our love. Yes, they'll know we are living by our love. We will walk with each other, we will walk hand in hand. We will walk with each other, we will walk hand in hand. And together we'll spread the news that God is in our land. And they'll know we are living by our love, by our love. Yes, they'll know we are living by our love.
Good morning, I'm Wes Morrison, prayer chaplain on duty. And first off all, I want to welcome any new time guests. We hope to get you know you a little bit better by the end of the service. And today I want to share the wisdom of Dalai Lama. And he says, "This is my simple religion. There is no need for temples, no need for complicated philosophy. Our own brain, our own heart is our temple. The philosophy is kindness."
We here at Unity come together every Sunday. Unity is a positive, practical approach to Christianity. We have a lot of tools in our spiritual toolbox that we use. We use the Bible. We use the words of the master teacher, Jesus. We use the teachings of our founders, Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, as well as many other spiritual leaders. And what that does is it ignites in us that spark that lets us acknowledge that divine light in everyone, no matter who or where. So where we worship, how we worship, when we worship is actually irrelevant because we still acknowledge that divine spark in everyone. I'm going to do this one. We're following. It's okay. So this is our affirmation. This is what we say every Sunday that affirms why we're here, why we gather together, and what we believe. So if you read this together with me, with enthusiasm. There is only one presence, one power, active in my life and in the universe. God the good omnipotence. God the good omnipotence.
And from our daily word, our word for the day is divine order. So we're going to go ahead and repeat this affirmation 3 times. During
times of uncertainty, I trust divine order. During times of uncertainty, I trust divine order. During times of uncertainty, I trust divine order. So anybody who's got an electronic device, cell phone, tablet, whatever, we're going to ask you to silence it, as Reverend Gary would say. You'll get your messages while we receive ours here this morning. So if you just put that on stun mode for the duration, we'll appreciate it immensely. Now here's our vision.
A world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening.
Let's say that together. A world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. That's our vision. That's why we come together. That's why we believe what we believe. That's why we pass it on to others, because that's our vision for our community here as well as our community at large. And that's our core values. Let's say this 3 times together so it really sets in, shall we? My entire being is filled with the energy of spirit. My entire being is filled with the energy of spirit. My entire being is filled with the energy of spirit. And now our sacred volunteer of the week. Yay! Grab a Chuck. Deborah Thomas, one of the original founders of this church, bookkeeper, she's been a board member, she teaches the youth church, and she is a dear friend to all of us. I mean, I think we'd probably take up half the service if we really enumerated the things that Deb does in this church for us. So this week, let's give her another round of applause, because you got to... This week, let's hold Deb in our thoughts and prayers and lift her up for all the wonderful things she does to keep us going spiritually, emotionally, and physically. Deb, thank you so much. And now we're going to have another congregational song with Carol Elliott, Open My Eyes That I May See by Clara Scott. If you'll all comfortably stand up and let's sing this together.
Open my eyes that I may see glimpses of truth God has for me. Place in my hands the wonderful key that shall unclasp and set me free. Silently now I wait for thee, ready, my God, thy will to see. Open my eyes, illumine me, Spirit divine. Open my ears that I may hear voices of truth God sent so clear. And while the music falls on my ear, everything false will disappear. Silently now I wait for thee, ready, my God, thy will to see. Open my ears, illumine me, Spirit divine. Open my mouth and let me bear gladly the warm truth everywhere. Open my heart and let me prepare love with your children I can share. Silently now I wait for thee, ready, my God, thy will to see. Open my heart, illumine me, Spirit divine.
Thank you, Carol. I'm always thrilled when Carol's here. Well, I'm not Reverend Gary Kanye, you know that. Reverend Gary's house guest, Margie, was visiting from Hawaii and was tested positive for COVID on Sunday. So he is staying out to keep us healthy. Owen's going to give you fist bumps from afar with a mask because he wants to keep us healthy. So tag, I'm it. And I'm thrilled to be here with you. So my talk title today is What's in Your Glass? So I happen to have a little glass. We're going to have visual aids today. This is going to be fun. I have a glass here. It's filled about midway with water. What's the question I'm going to ask you? Half full or is it half empty? So if it's half full, I'm an optimist, right? I'm always looking at what I have. If it's half empty, I'm the pessimist and I'm going, I don't have very much. Well, I'm a realist. This glass is refillable. Okay? But that's not my question today. My question of you is this. How heavy is the glass I'm holding? So it depends on, Carol says 8 ounces. So you could come up with different measurements, right? But it really kind of depends on where I hold the glass. If I hold it like this with both hands, I can carry this all day long, right? If I carry it right here with one hand, I have to think I'm a little close here. If I carry it like this with one hand, then it's a little heavier. If all service I tried to hold it out like this, it gets a lot heavier, doesn't it? That's what we carry every day, isn't it? Oh, and am I too close? In a minute. I need 2 hands for now. We'll go to the mic in a second. So right now, if I hold it out here, I can probably do that for a few minutes, right? It's not too bad. But this kind of represents our lives and what we carry all day long with us, right? Stress, different things that burden us. So what are kind of the stressors we have in our lives? Tell me some of the stressors we have in our lives. Work. Wow. Money. Children. Should have 10 rocks for that. Parents. Relationships. Okay, so now I've added all these different things in here. Water level's going up. It's a little heavier. But I got to carry this all day long, don't I? And it's going to get heavier and heavier and heavier. Now, I would be brilliant if I could tell you how to remove all the stress in your lives, but I'm just not that smart. Okay? But I can give you some tips on how to control and how we can cope with those things that burden us throughout our lives. I'm going to... These rocks that I've placed down here, and I will now go to the mic. Oh, and let me just dry my hands off a little bit. Can you hear me now? Okay. These rocks I've had for probably 20 years, and this is just a very small number of the rocks that I have collected over the years. Each rock has a word on it, and each word has significance. When I was working actively in San Diego at the Navy in personnel and human resources, I put a rock in my pocket every day, and I had a tray that had probably 50 rocks on it, and they were all turned upside down, so I couldn't see the rock. And every morning I'd pick up a rock, put it in my pocket. Sometimes I'd look at it, sometimes I wouldn't. And by divine synchronicity, every single day of my working life that I had that rock in my pocket, somebody would come up to me, because it was well known. My nickname was K-Mac. K-Mac's got a rock in her pocket. So what's today's rock? And I'd reach in and I'd pull the rock out, and it would mean something to me, to the person I was with, or to a circumstance that was going on at the center. It was just, that to me is just divine synchronicity, because I never chose those rocks. I just picked them up randomly. Now, in the job I had, it's human resources, which is not always the easiest job in the world. And I was a supervisor over 15 people on my team. I had a collateral duty of teaching what we called HR, Human Resources 101. And every week, we held a class, and that class had 25 to 30 students, and I had to line up what the curriculum was and get the slides together and have all the printouts and have it, if I wasn't teaching, have an instructor for the day. A lot of stuff going on at one time, and a lot of personalities, a lot of people to deal with. And people, I love being around people most of the time. And there's some people I like to say hello to and move on, because they're not always the easiest to be around. Now, Connie, Megan, and I all worked at the same place. Connie had a woman in her team, Erica, dear friend of ours. And Erica and Connie had a woman on their team. A very small group of people, but there was one woman, Kim, who just liked to push everybody's buttons. If you used a deodorant with a certain fragrance, she'd complain that it was choking her. I mean, she was that ridiculous about things. And Erica had a particularly difficult time dealing with Kim. And she came to me one day and she said, how do you deal with all these personalities and maintain your cool? And I said, well, I've developed a little thing that I do. So the first thing I do when I'm being faced in a confrontational situation, and it takes a fraction of a second, is to slow, deep breath, and then mentally I would step back and step up and view that situation from a different perspective, from a higher level, and ask myself this question, and this is all a fraction of a second time after I worked on this a long time. Ask myself this question: how do I want to show up in this moment? Because every moment of our lives, whether we realize it or not, is a defining moment. I just met a few people here today for the first time. That's my defining moment. You're either going to love me, you're going to hate me, or you're going to go, she's all right. But that's my first impression on these people, on all of you. It's your first impression. It's how your spouse or your child reacts to how you said what you said, regardless of the intention behind it, right? So how we want to step up. So these rocks mean a lot to me. They always have things that I look at that I want to look forward. So the first rock that I have says listen. This is one of the first rocks I actually got. I think my first 3 rocks were think, teach, and listen. Think and teach were great. Listen was a lot more important than the rest of those. So when we listen, we have to listen to a lot of things all at one time. First and foremost is that still small voice. That still small voice within that is having a constant dialogue with us, whether we realize it or not. And it's that still small voice that we want to really respond to more than anything. William D. House, famous American author, said this: "It is the still small voice that the soul heeds, not the deafening blasts of doom." I love those words, the deafening blasts of doom. Because they really are, aren't they? And what do we know? What do we sometimes hear first? The deafening blast of doom, right? When that happens, we have to really be careful of our self-talk. And we talk to ourselves all the time. The other day, I set the coffee pot up for the next morning, and I set the timer to go off at 7:50, and I did it at 7:40 in the morning, which means that 10 minutes later, the coffee pot went off again. But the pot wasn't under it, so you can imagine the mess. And I'm sitting there going, Kathy, you idiot, what are you doing? I'm telling myself what I think about myself at that time. It's not good, it's not healthy. Be careful of your self-talk. I don't know how many of you might go to the New Braunfels farmers market on Saturday mornings. There's a wonderful woman there named Grammy. And Grammy sells pickles. I'm not a pickle eater, but I love her pickles. And she and her husband are there, and they're the sweetest people you ever want to meet. And I don't know, last year sometime, Grammy came up to me and she said, I have cancer. And I heard that and it was like, ooh. Because I'm a survivor myself. And I said, Grammy, can I make a suggestion to you? Instead of saying I have cancer, why don't you say I was given a diagnosis of cancer? Because then you don't have to accept the gift. You can decline it. You don't have to own that. So when things like that come up, think about how you want to approach it and how you want to say it to yourself. And she's in remission now. She's doing great. We saw her 2 weeks ago, and I'm just thrilled that she's doing wonderfully. But think about your self-talk. Listen to the still small voice. Ignore the deafening blast of doom, which means don't watch the news right now. Okay? Now, the next rock that I picked up is courage. Courage has a lot of different meanings for a lot of different people, right? We have to have the courage to acknowledge that we have these stressors in our life that bring us down a little bit. Some people go around with their head in the sky in a little bubble. No, I'm fine. Everything's great. I'm doing fine. I saw a little meme on Facebook with a thumb sticking out of the water saying, I'm fine. I'm fine. And it really spoke to me because how many do it? How are you doing today? Oh, I'm great. I'm great. And you feel like crap and nothing's working well in your life, but you're going to tell everybody, I'm fine, as opposed to being vulnerable and open and having the courage to say, I'm not having a great day. So if you could just keep me in your thoughts, it'd be really appreciative. Have courage to do that. Mark Twain said this about courage. Courage is resistance to fear, mastery of fear, not the absence of fear. We're going to have fear in our lives. And some fear is good. Some fear is healthy. You walk up to a hot stove, you're going to have the fear of getting burned, so you're going to exercise caution. And that's a good fear to have. If I'm going to go out to Common and try and cross the street, I'm going to watch both ways, because I have a fear if I don't, I might get hit by a car. But fear, which is often referred to as forget everything and run, fear can be something that we can overcome, or at least accept and move beyond. Okay? We have to be able to move beyond. I think it was Marianne Williamson that once said, our greatest fear is not that we are inadequate, but that we are powerful beyond measure. And we are powerful. We are very powerful people. We wouldn't be here today having faced the adversities that this room collectively has had in their lifetimes if we weren't powerful and didn't have courage. The next rock I have is believe. Why are we here today? Do we have similar beliefs in the same divine, the same higher power, the same God? Whatever you want to call it. I had a minister in San Diego that used to say, it's the cosmic muffin. So it really doesn't matter what you call God. I think we're all here because we do believe that there's something larger, something greater than we are, and that we come together to worship that, to worship for that purpose. So you have to believe. You believe in God, you believe in others, you believe in your spouse, but most importantly, you have to believe in yourself. You really have to believe in yourself because it is so important for us to understand the potential and the power we have. Reverend Eric Butterworth, one of my favorites in Unity Ministers, says this: the greatest mistake is in believing that we are only human. We are human in expression, but divine in creation and limitless in potentiality. How many of us realize that we are children of God? We are one with the one. We are the microcosm within the macrocosm, so we are part of God. That's a powerful thing. And we say it and we'll recite it, but how many of us take it to heart? That everything in this world, all the good is here for us because of who we are, because of whose we are. We have to always remember that. Now, the next rock I picked out was trust. We have to trust in the process. We have to trust ourselves. We have to trust in God. We have to trust one another. I worked for somebody one time that said, you got to earn my trust. You got to earn my trust. When I was a supervisor, my thing was, I'm going to trust you until you give me a reason not to. Because that to me endeared my staff to me a lot better. I'll trust you. I'm going to trust that you know how to do the job, or that you're going to come to me when there's questions. If there's an issue, you're going to come to me and say, hey, I don't understand how to do this. I'm going to trust you to do that. Now, if you flop through something and don't ask questions and you knew you didn't know, we're going to have a little conversation about that. But I'm going to trust you first and foremost. Because I don't think God came up and said, well, I made you. I don't trust you yet. Right? God gave us free will. God gave us everything available possible and didn't say, I'll let you use it when I trust you about it. We need to have that same respect for others. We need to learn to trust. Now, I'm not a huge basketball fan, but Michael Jordan is certainly somebody to be admired. He said, to achieve greatness, you must trust the process and have unwavering belief in your abilities. Unwavering belief. How many of us can say that about ourselves? I have unwavering belief. When I was asked to talk today, did I have unwavering belief that I wouldn't make any mistakes? Oh, no. No, I didn't, I'll be honest with you. But I also had trust and belief that I'm with my spiritual family and it didn't matter. But you have to have unwavering belief. You absolutely do. Now, the last rock, and this is my wife Connie's favorite word, especially over the holidays. We have this word all over at Christmas time. Deb, say it out loud. Joy. Absolutely. Joy. So we had this burden that we're holding out, and it gets heavier and heavier. And depending upon what's in there, it can be loss in a family, it can be financial strife, it can be health issues. How do we find joy? How do we find joy in the muck and mire we go through every day? We had a recent loss in our family. But on Friday morning, actually we were doing this when I got the call from Gary for today. Connie and I sat having coffee on the back porch, and the deer were out there, and all of a sudden it was just so still and silent. And the only thing we could hear was the song of a multitude of birds out in the back in the trees, and the slight breeze hitting the wind chimes in the garden. In the face of everything else, we found joy in that little moment. We found joy in that little moment because it was something that gives us joy. Sometimes I'll be flipping through my phone or on Facebook, and I'll see a picture of a baby, and I'll click the sound up, and I hear laughter. How can somebody say the laughter of a baby, especially little belly laughs, how can that not bring you joy? Or a picture of a cat, I get joy when my dog comes up on my lap and I'll say, "Do you want to go?" And her ears perk up and she tilts her head. You know how dogs do that? So it doesn't have to be that you just won the lottery to bring you joy. It just has to be the little things in life. And if you look for them, even if you don't look for them, you're just open to them, there is a tremendous amount of joy. I got joy when Gary said, "Would you speak on Sunday?" I got joy when I saw all of you come in today. So you just have to really look for the things that bring you joy in your life. Joseph Campbell was a famous author and was involved in a lot of the different New Thought teachings. I love his quote on joy. "Find a place inside where there is joy, and the joy will burn out the pain." The joy will burn out the pain. But the thing about this is we have to be receptive to it. We have to be open to the fact that there is joy, whether we want to look at it or not, whether we want to admit it or not, there is joy in our lives. And we have to be open to receive it. And when you are open to receive it and you allow that joy to come in, it's going to burn out the pain. Doesn't mean pain's always going to go away, but it will burn out that pain. And the more you open yourselves up to the good that's in our lives and not focus on that deafening blast of doom, because those are temporary, aren't they? How many of us have had a deafening blast of doom that has lasted for years? But could you find joy in those times? Yes. And for that moment, that joy burned out that pain. So that's what I encourage you to do, is to look for the joy, look for what brings you that sighing moment where you go, okay, it's not going to be all bad forever, because there are good things in my life. There's good things for me to look at. So whether your glass is half full or half empty, whether it's refillable, no matter how heavy it gets, there are ways for us to cope with and to deal with all these different things. We just have to look for them. So I have a challenge for you this week for personal explorations. This week, take time to evaluate what you focus on and make it worthy of your time. Everyone is worthy. We are children of God. We are worthy and valuable to each other and to God. We are worthy. So if you're going to take time to focus your attention, to focus on something, make sure it's worthy of you and your time. Okay? Thank you. Namaste. So everybody get kind of comfortable in your seats and take a slow, deep breath. Relax into the support that the seat is giving you. And know with me that regardless of the burdens we carry, we listen to the still small voice. We have the courage to reach out. We believe there will always be the response, and we trust that process. And each day we look for the joy that is here and coming our way. Each of us is divine. We are divine in nature. We are divine in expression. Each of us makes worthy use of the time we're given. And so as we go into the silence, contemplate what that looks like for each of you. And now we go into the silence. And as we bring our consciousness back into this room, we do so feeling lighter, with tools we can use to lighten the load throughout our days, and knowing that we are always supported by the divine. And so it is. Amen. And now I'd like you to repeat with me our affirmation 3 times, and let's make sure it sinks in, okay? I release what no longer serves my highest good. I release what no longer serves my highest good. I release what no longer serves my highest good. All right. And now, unfortunately, I don't know the Aramaic version, my friends, nor would I even attempt it. Now we're going to recite the Lord's Prayer, which is direct from the Aramaic to English. Together, Father, Mother, birther and breath of all, create a space inside us and fill it with your presence. Let oneness now prevail. Your one desire flows through ours as energy fills all forms. Give us this day our physical and spiritual nourishment. Untangle the knots of error that bind us as we release others. Don't let appearances make us forgetful of the source, but free us to act appropriately. For age to age, from you comes the glorious harmony of life. May these words be fertile ground from which our future grows. Amen. And now we are treated to special music from Elliott. Open my eyes that I may see.
No, it's open my, he got that wrong.
Okay, so Reverend Gary doesn't have it exactly right. It's Open Your Heart and Let Me In is the name of the song. So.
There you go. Thank you, Kim. Wherever you may be tonight, I want you to know I'm thinking of you. But you're so far away, and you can't hear me.
Thank you, Carol. Thank you so much. So do we have any new first-timers here today? Anyone? We have some familiar faces I know that haven't been here for a while, so welcome back. Okay. Now we're going to say hello to our online viewers. We're no longer live streaming, but the message is posted. If you want to get the message in the entire service, let Owen or Reverend Gary know, and they'll get that to you early in the week. Otherwise, it is in the newsletter. So hello to all our online viewers. We're so glad you were able to join us today and hope that we will see you soon in person here in the sanctuary to enjoy the energy we share here. Okay, so we're going to do our walk of abundance. We're going to start with our offering affirmation. If you'll say this together with me. From the love of pure spirit within me, I bless this gift. I send it forth to heal and bless and prosper. It is evidence from my faith and belief. It does good work in the world and returns to me abundantly. So for anybody that is new here, I don't think we have anybody, just feel free to bring your offering, your intentions, your goodwill into the copper bowl. Make sure you take as many affirmations as you want so you can see them throughout the week to give you that extra spiritual boost. All right, thank you. Come right on up. So join me now as we, yes, that's good for Carol, thank you. Join me now as we bless these offerings, these wonderful and beautiful intentions that have been gifted to this church, to this community, so that we can continue to do good works out among us and in New Braunfels and as it furthers out. We are so grateful for the generosity of everyone, so grateful for the presence here of everyone. So we bless all these offerings, all these intentions, and we focus now on the prayer box in the foyer for everyone who has requested prayer, whether it be for positivity, to assist with some issue they're going through. We acknowledge that those prayers are out into the universe and being answered before they're even finished. And for this, we give great thanks as we release this into the law of God, knowing it is made so, and so it is. Amen. Okay, Wes, I think we've got some announcements.
I'm your prayer chaplain on duty, and I'll be down here in the front row if you have any joyous concerns or anything you'd like to share. Choral singing, Sunday, July 21st at 9:30 a.m. Rudy Hurst will lead a song to be sung by the group that gathers to sing. All are welcome. And then sacred service opportunities. Family Promise to Host Week is Sunday, July 21st through July 28th. And it looks like for when we need one person for our dinner on the July 27th, 2 people for overnight on July 23rd, and 2 people overnight on Wednesday, July 24th. Wise Women is a book discussion. Change Your Thoughts by Wayne Dyer. Bring snacks to share. Friday, July 19th, 5:30 to 7:30. And then, of course, following the service today is a game night, or game day, I should say. And bring a lunch. And let's have some fun.
We changed the game time to be on a Sunday after service. A lot of us don't like to drive at night. So now you can enjoy one another's company, play some games, have some snacks, bring a lunch. Come and after service, we'll have it set up. Cynthia, where are we going to do that? Which room?
In the lobby, probably.
In the foyer, right here. We'll be out here doing games, okay? And now, special music by Carol Elliott. That's the way love goes.
I'm from Atlanta originally, and I started going up to Nashville and trying to see if I might want to move up there and try my luck with songwriting. And I met only had one connection, one person that knew somebody, and I went and met with them, and they sent me to one person, and that person sent me one. And anyway, I ended up getting offered a publishing deal, and it was called Tree International Publishing at the time. And there were 40 men on the staff and me as the staff writers. And so that was exciting, and I moved up to Nashville, and 2 of the writers were Whitey Schaefer and Lefty Frizzell. And also, and some of y'all who really know country and the old country will appreciate that. And Harlan Howard was there, and he had written Patsy Cline's I Fall to Pieces. But also Roger Miller was on staff there. Doesn't get any better than that. So anyway, this is not necessarily a song I would have thought about singing in church, but I thought, well, it's about love, and it does say the word God in it. And also, if you know it, you're welcome to sing along with me. I've been throwing horseshoes over my left shoulder. I spent most all my life searching for that 4-leaf clover. When you ran with me chasing my rainbows. Honey, I love you so. That's the way love goes. That's the way love goes, babe. That's the music God made for all the world to sing. It's never old, it grows. Losing makes me sorry. Oh, but honey, don't you worry. I know you love me so, and that's the way love goes. You wanna sing that with me? That's the way love goes, babe. That's the music God made for all the world to sing. It's never old, it grows. Losing makes me sorry. Oh, but honey, don't you worry. You know I love you so, and that's the way love goes. That's the way love goes. That's the way love goes.
Am I up? There we go. So a lot of the music today was written for Reverend Gary's talk, Love is the Answer, but it kind of segues in beautifully. So right now we're going to say goodbye to our online viewers. We hope to see you again very soon. Thank you for joining us today. Namaste.